For TraderInsight.com, live from Old Town Alexandria, Virginia. We are in the Washington, D.C. area having a great time. There's a great place to set up and trade. We're here, of course, with our son Connor. Spent the day yesterday getting a history lesson. We were out on the mall. We were at the Lincoln Memorial, the Washington Monument, saw the whole thing. When he came home, he said he's ready for a history lesson, wanted to watch a movie about Lincoln. He said, how about Abraham Lincoln, Vampire Hunter? So that's what's passing for some history around here. He's 11 years old. Maybe not ready for the Nobel Prize yet, but he's getting there. So this morning, right, we had a fantastic morning in the first hour trading pit. So what I'd like to do now is review just the trades that we managed to catch. I know there were other trades in there that some of you were looking at, some of you were taking. Going to look at a couple of those as well, but I'd like to focus on the first trade of the day, which, as you know, is our volatility band trade in Apple. So, volatility band trades right out of the gate, Apple. We had a very tight consolidation pre-market, but after the opening bell, we had a nice predictable move right up through the bands that we anticipated for the morning. So we had a nice shot right up into that 208.25 area. Made for a great first trade of the session, and over the course of the day we had lots and lots of volatility. Good stuff on this one. We had a reversal move back up to that 208.59 pivot line, exactly where we would expect to see the stock go. Then we had this big bar to the downside. This was some weird tick volume, big outside print. Market chased it down. You know, nothing really to worry about there. We weren't in anything, and what we did instead was focused on the retracements. Then the move back up to the pivot line gave us a nice shot back down from 208.59 down to 208.12. Then once we got down into 207.76, we had these inflections that gave us these nice little pops up into the range there, and we stopped trading Apple this morning right around 11 a.m. Eastern time as the market started to consolidate and make sort of a sideways move. First one on the Baltimore Chop opening gap setups, Mohawk, ticker symbol MHK. We saw a beautiful opening range move on this one. Gap to the downside left us with an entry right up above the deepest bar in the pullback. Initial target was up $8 per share. We were looking for a really big move on this one when we got up and had this reversal of two closing prices here. I called the exit on the trade in the room. Wound up being a beautiful move, over $5 per share traded on MHK. Here's the second one. This one Eric called in the room, UHS. This had a nice move on the open, got us up. Second bar of the day, put in the highest low. The reversal down through there happened in the third bar. You had a pretty wide stop initially up above there, but it was pretty easy to tighten that in as the rest of these bars formed. Over the course of the morning, it made a nice, easy move down to that profit objective. We determined that by all this volume by price data over here, right? Nothing really happened down in the bottom of the bar, so it's very important to go and look at your volume profile and make sure that you're looking to trade into an area that there was actually trading earlier in the session. The place the market maker or the specialist was willing to defend the stock earlier, most likely going to be where they defend it again, and you don't want to be part of an offense into a market maker driven defense. All right, here's a great trade in ZBH, Zimmer Biomet Holdings. This one I missed altogether because I was looking for sort of that perfect fill. The spreads were wide, and I really didn't want to get caught in a wide spread. It came down. I had my entry line right there at that 134.81 line, looking to get filled on the offer. Stock came back up and almost took me right into this beautiful position. Didn't happen. Had a 131.50 target on it. You should see here the reasoning for that. We had some pretty firm support and resistance in the pre-market. That lined up with the very last of the volume for the morning on the session. And as you can see, really nice move from 134.81 down to 131.50. Perfect sort of Baltimore Chop 2SD opening gap reversion trade. All right, the laggards in summertime trading always tend to be the XRV setups. They are by far and away the best setups the rest of the year. They're the ones that give you the biggest bang for the buck. But during the summer, very, very difficult to get that fast follow through, especially when we get into this July, August kind of a doldrum period. But I was talking to John Nigerian about this at the Traders Expo, and he said the same thing I did. You just got to get in front of the opportunities and keep working them, because you don't know exactly when the summertime light trading is going to end. Right? Money's going to come back into the market, and when it does, you want to be in front of the opportunities. That being said, ALKS, this one triggered us in off the open. Initially, I had a stop on this one, up about $21.20, so not very wide. That was just based on what it did right off the opening bell. I'm trying to give these about the first 5 minutes of trading before I get into them right now. That allows for us to avoid getting snapped in and snapped out of them. During the summer, that doesn't tend to pose a problem at all in terms of getting down to the profit objectives. So ALKS, that one's still floating around in the range as we're talking right now. AIMC, Ultra Industrial Motion Corporation. This one, if you traded it right off the opening bell, was going to get you in on a violation of this low. As it wound up, the second bar got you in anyways. We had a 28.20 entry on that one. My initial stop on that was up at $29.20. We'll see how this winds up over the course of the session, just sort of floating around in the range right now. And then finally, we had Cone. And you can see this one got you in, right in that market open. Track down, has been trying its best to get down into that 55-53 target zone. Might just take this one off a little bit early. It's at 55.65 right now. Did try to make it down into the pivot line just a little bit ago, but let's see what happens over the course of the session. We've got some time left. It's 1 p.m. Eastern time. We've got until 4 for CONE to make that move down into the pivot line. So again, on the XRVs during the summer, don't take the opening tick. It's not the very first tick of the market that you want to get into. If you're watching them, just make sure it opens in line. There's not a ton of volatility. The spreads are pretty tight, and then there's no harm in getting in a minute or 2 minutes after the market opens. It avoids some of those really big whipsaw moves, and I think you'll be a lot happier trading them. So we're going to go out. We are going to explore Washington, D.C. Actually, I think today we're probably going to explore Old Town here. It's a fascinating place, beautiful, beautiful place. We're going to look to meet up with Greg, one of our boot camp alumni. He lives around here. I think we're going to miss Eric. He's out of town, but makes for a really great place to catch up and enjoy some sights and teach my kid that maybe some of the great historical figures in the country did something besides hunt vampires. So if you have any questions, shoot me an email, adrian@traderinsight.com. I hope you had a great trading day today and an even better one on deck for Monday. It's the best trader education anywhere, only from traderinsight.com.